We are continuing the coverage of the Alec Baldwin trial, kind of within a trial at this point. Again, the jury has been sent home for the weekend because the defense brought a motion to dismiss based on what they say is prosecutorial, if not misconduct, mistakes that are serious. Like, we didn't get all the bullets we asked for. We asked for all of the bullets, cartridges, dummies, otherwise. And now it turns out that there was a certain number of items that did not come back to them in discovery. So, on the stand now, it looks like one of the witnesses, we know we're going to hear from Corporal Alexandria Hancock, also the gentleman who provided the guns. So let's go back into court for this testimony. Again, they are about to elicit some testimony from folks who can help the court. Remember, jury's not there. Help the court understand what the chain of custody might have been for these, I'll call them the stray bullets, that were not turned over to the defense. Defense making a huge stink out of this. That's the legal word, bringing their motion to dismiss. Because I felt like, what if there's exculpatory information that this could have given us to help our client, Alec Baldwin? Or perhaps maybe it just suggests that the prosecution and the law enforcement teams have not been forthright, and it really taints the entire investigation, which of course means shifting the focus from Alec Baldwin into the investigation itself. So, Brian, there's a reason for these rules, right? I mean, this isn't like you just, hey, willy-nilly, we enforce them here, we don't enforce them there. There's a reason for these rules and this motion.
Yeah, so when it comes to the rules of Brady and Giglio violations, the courts and legislature has made it that the punishment is extreme, that you dismiss the case, because what they want to do is get law enforcement and prosecutors to turn over information that could help the other side. I'll give you a quick story. I had a single mother who went to a party and a gun was secreted into her bag. And on the eve of trial, after a year of having to take her 6-year-old to court with her, I get Rikers calls, and that's the jail here in New York, that the co-defendants are talking amongst each other that they can't go to jail because the gun is found in my client's purse. About a week later, that case got dismissed. So before you, and I know I'm very passionate about this, and I'm on my soapbox, so to speak. So before you start saying like, oh, so what? They didn't turn over information. Imagine being a defendant and not having information to defend yourself against the government. That's why the punishment for doing so is so high.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, Brian, it is important information and it should be shared, and the investigation should be as squeaky clean as it possibly can be. But Catherine Lizardo, you can't deny the distractive nature of this kind of motion.
It is distractive, especially when the judge wants to finish the trial by next Friday, which I agree with Anjan. Yeah, it's not happening. And I agree with Brian Bachmeier that this is an important issue in terms of making sure that all the evidence is with both parties, the state and the defense, so that there is a fair trial. The Constitution requires that, the law, and just human civility requires that. That's why the defense is really hammering on it. So when the question comes up, so what? It's more of, hey, you know what, are we trying to divert the attention, or are we focusing on the constitutional rights of the defendant? And the constitutional rights of the defendant, I agree, Brian, is extremely important. So we should not lose sight of that here.
That is true. And I stand, scolded. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, I've got to thank and excuse Brian Bachmeier, law and crime legal analyst. Thanks, Bud, for joining. We will see you next time here at the network. Catherine Lizardo is going to stick around. So what we're seeing here is a sidebar prior to testimony we believe will shed some light for the court, no jury, into this issue of evidence not being shared with the defense. That's where we are, and we will be there when we come back in just a couple of moments to Law and Crime, the Alec Baldwin trial continuing. We'll be right back.